I allowed some people in my company to falsify information because I thought I had enough money to be able to cover all this stuff if something didn't go right. And when things went wrong, how many of y'all know it goes wrong? I ended up losing everything. I got sentenced to 17 years, did 4.5 years in prison. I came home in 2014 with nothing. I lost my family. I lost my covenant with God. They had to move back to Louisiana and start living a life that I had taught them different about. I had humiliated my opportunity to be the leader that I was. And all I did, guys, was turn my head the other way and not take care of the responsibility of what was in front of me. But God had a plan for me. He wanted me to learn a valuable lesson because he had more than meetings inside of me. I had $15 million and $60 million in real estate. Now all of a sudden, all that's gone. He taught me in a real sudden way that you make one wrong move and take your eyes off me, son, because I gave you all this, I'll take it from you. I get emotional thinking about it. I had to lose everything to gain everything. And now I stand before you, back in the millions. I got a beautiful wife that loves me. All my kids alive. I got grandchildren that love and admire me. And I got an opportunity to speak my truth to my people. And if he can do it for me, he can do it for you. No excuses. You choose the early because no matter where you are in your life, no matter what your personality is, I'm gonna help you come out and represent that individual to your highest and your truest expression of yourself. So I believe that, there's only one you, there's only one me. So we have to find a way to display those things that we want to display in this world. And you have something to offer that nobody else can offer. So I think that sometimes having someone that can encourage you in those areas and also give you direction based on their experiences, just to be 100% honest about those things with you and also give you direction without holding back, I think is a big opportunity for you to be able to express being along with a team that's going to help you get where you want to be. I think choosing Demetrius Early and experiencing the DLD experience, it has a representation of resilience. A lot of people are not transparent about the things they go through because everybody want to give you the perception that they're all good. The reality is we're all messed up people striving to become better. And so because we always are in that place of striving to become better, I think it's a beautiful thing when you can be authentic, and be honest, and be 100% you. Man, being me is like right now, like just walking in my beautiful home. My wife and I, we worked real hard to get to this point. I don't take it for granted, man, just being grateful for where you are right now, and also being humble enough to learn more about how you can get to where you want to be. So I think that just being you just means just being honest, having integrity, and being able to respect and honor what God has given you and the people that He's sending your path to help share it with you. Welcome to the D Early Experience virtual show. I'm yours truly, Demetrius Early, and I'm so excited about tonight's guest, man. We had an opportunity to meet this gentleman about maybe a month and a half ago, and he really blessed us with some powerful information. And so just super excited to be able to continue the conversation. We talked about, hey, what the millionaires are talking about in the back room, behind the scene, things that you don't normally get a chance to see in the forefront, because most people talk about, hey man, you need to get this right, do that right, but nobody really talks about how do we get it right. So tonight you're in for a treat. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about some things and be a little bit more intimate in our communication about some of the intangibles of how to become successful. All right. And our goal is to get at least to 7 figures, right? If you're out there and you're striving to be on that next level, you're on the right podcast tonight. And so I am yours truly, Demetrius Early. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I believe in helping other people get to the next level, no matter what level that is. And I've been blessed to be able to, make millions over the years and lose at the same time. I've lost it 3 times already. And so God has blessed me to be able to get back to that level. Once you have it in your mind and your heart, and God bless you to have the foundation and learn how to learn from your past mistakes, then, hey, something amazing happens, especially when you're willing to put the work in. We can't forget about that. So, hey, I want you guys to follow me on social media. I want you to get the word out. I want you to share, like, and tag and comment while we're on this podcast. And also, hey, listen, go to Facebook at The Early Experience. Go to Instagram at The Early Experience. Twitter at Demetrius_Early. YouTube, Demetrius Early. TikTok, The Early Experience. LinkedIn, Demetrius Early. And look, go to the website, TheEarlyExperience.com. Listen, I get so excited. I hope y'all feel my energy right now. I want y'all to feel this energy because, man, listen, information is so powerful when it's distributed to the right person that's ready to take action. So this is an action podcast. We're about taking action. We want you to be able to learn something that can empower you and make you take action. That's what it's all about, taking action. So listen, I'm so excited again. I'm going to be talking to none other than one of my best friends. Brother has been a true blessing to me. He's always available when I need him. But he's also an entrepreneur that is doing phenomenal things. So, hey, if you're out there right now, hey, I want you to put in the chat your name, where you're from. Hey, Leandra, Taylor, Hampton. Hey, listen, how you doing? If you're out there, put in the chat where you at, where you're from. Because, man, it's very important that we kind of represent right now. This is our podcast, not just my podcast. It's our podcast. We're going to talk about things and interact with one another. What's going on, Mr. Thurston? Actually speak louder than words. Absolutely. Out of Ohio. We got Ohio in the building. Put in the chat your name and where you're from. And we truly appreciate you guys interacting with us this evening. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about some of the things that we're doing. I see you, Shreveport, Louisiana. Some of the things that we're doing right now. Hey, listen, we talk about a few things that my wife and I are doing right now. We have a radio talk show, 102.9. We're on every Sunday morning, and we're talking about the 4 different areas of life that are very important to us. And we believe they are spiritual, emotional, financial, and physical. Once you get those things in alignment, man, you're going to be truly blessed, right? So we talk about discussions about real life issues. So check us out on 102.9, Demetrius Early, Make Me More Empowered Radio Talk Show. And you can go on the website, 102.9 KBII. So, hey, at the end of the day, listen, I want you guys to remember, I'm also a best-selling author. Okay, I'm co-author with Brian Tracy. Got a chance to one of my great mentors I've been learning from over the years. I was blessed to have an opportunity to be able to co-author with him. And the book name is Driven. Because, hey, listen, you got to have passion and you got to have drive. You got to have resilience to be able to be successful in this life. So the book is called Driven. It's some great information in there. Go to my website at TheEarlyExperience.com. Also, I help people with their business. I'm a business consultant. I ask people with their business. I help them get to the next level by showing them how to get their structure put together properly and make sure that they have their credit. If you have a personal credit issue, we can help you with that. We also help you build your business credit and help you get funded. All right. So we talk about the 4 legs to get you funded. Hey, Seriously Player. Hey, hi, Therese. How you doing? Out of Shreveport, Louisiana. That's family up in here. So, hey, listen, so we're very excited. I'm also a mentor. I help people, who are needing someone to hold them accountable. I remember watching LeBron James, one of my favorite athletes of this time, but Michael Jordan before him. Those guys have someone always critiquing them to make them greater than what they are, to make sure that they're doing the best version of themselves in their craft. So, hey, you need someone to help you, to hold you accountable. They also give you some principles that you can use to expand and go to the next level. Hey, please go to my website, TheEarlyExperience.com, register. Let's have a free consultation, and I'll make sure we have
an opportunity to be able to share with you some of the things we can do to help you accomplish that goal. Because everybody needs someone to help them get to that next level. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to take an opportunity right now to go to a commercial, and we'll be right back with our special guest, Mr. John Cruz. Thank you.
Good day. Everything still a go for tonight? Come on. Man, my truck just stopped again. Yeah, I know I need a new one. I tried, man. My credit just is horrible. Well, I'm headed to the bus stop.
We are here to improve your credit so that you can get the things you need and want in life.
I need help with my credit. It's been one of those weeks. Wish me luck on my ride to work.
Our team at We Raise Credit can help you get the car you need. We Raise Credit.
Hey, we're back at the Dear Early Experience virtual show. And man, I have a special guest for you guys that's going to give you some wealth of knowledge. This young man right here has been on top for a very long time, but yet he's still striving, and he inspires me consistently. And one of my best friends, man, John Cruz in the building. How you doing, Mr. Cruz?
I'm doing well, brother. Thank you for having me again.
Man, it's a pleasure having you, brother. You was worthy of bringing back, because I got so many comments and hits that were saying that, man, they really enjoyed the information that we shared, and it helped some people look at this entrepreneur journey from a different perspective. And that's what we're all about. And so, we talk about the back room and what the millionaires talk about. And, we've been on this journey since what? I met you in 2005.
No, before then, because I sold my mortgage company in 2005. So
right, I met you in 2002. Is what it was. And you've always been someone to inspire me, man, to want to do greater things. And I'll never forget walking up and meeting you and asking you, hey, man, is it possible that you can give me an opportunity to be a Black Jesus in your life? And he was like, what are you talking about, man? I'm like, I can resurrect every file you got this dead over there. Let me help resurrect those files, because I had a credit restoration company back then, and we were just excited about just servicing the mortgage industry, because real estate was just such an amazing industry at the time. And you gave me that opportunity. So I really want to just thank you, man, for giving me that opportunity even back then, and then still have a relationship with you to this day right here, man. It's a dream come true for me, man. I'm excited for us, man.
Thank you, brother.
So listen, let's dive right into it. So, hey, man, we talked about the intangibles, man. The intangibles. Would you like to define what the intangibles mean? A lot of people don't know what that means. What does the intangible mean to you?
Well, when I think about the intangibles of entrepreneurial success, well, first of all, an intangible is something that's, that's unseen, unable to be grasped, sometimes unable to be measured. And when we look at our success is it is the sticks and the bricks, meaning that it is the things that we do every day, day in, day out. I mean, if you're selling cookies, it's getting your recipe and kneading the dough and putting in the sugar and the salt and the butter and putting it in the oven. That's part of what it takes to be successful. But when I think about the intangibles, there are a host of things that you have to also look at that can't be measured. And those things, generally it starts with mindset and how you look at your business, how you think about yourself. I mean, mindset is probably the most important step in transitioning yourself for entrepreneurial success. I mean, when you think about it, even when you go and talk to people who've won the lottery or people who've won at games of chance, they'll tell you that in my mind, I knew I was going to be a winner. I knew today was my day. I knew it had to happen today. And that's really the mindset that a person needs to take into their business. You have to know that it's going to be your day. You have to know that you're going to be successful. And mindset is very key.
Absolutely. I think about this all the time. I get up early in the morning and I meditate now. And some days are not as highly motivated as others. But I want to just ask a question about that for me. Okay, so when I wake up in the morning and I do the things that I know that I've been doing consistently over and over again, um, what is some of the things that we can do from a mental standpoint to encourage ourselves? Because what I've learned is if you don't speak to yourself with the proper language, information would get in to hinder you from being able to think the right way about how you should lay your foundation and what your philosophy should be. How important is philosophies and your thought process concerning your mindset?
Well, and it sounds so cliche, man. And I listen to a lot of speakers. I listen to a lot of people that talk about what it takes to be successful. And even as a young entrepreneur, one of the things that stuck out to me is how similar they all sounded. I'm like, I mean, they're telling you how you speak to yourself, how you think, what you say, but it wasn't until I did 100% or had given 100% buy-in on the things that they were lecturing on before I saw my own business take off. And when you talk about some of those things, the first thing that comes to my mind is definitely how you think about yourself. And then secondarily, how do you speak to yourself? And believe me, there is a warrior that lives deep within each of us that is ready and willing to go to battle at a moment's notice. And every single time that you say something that hurts yourself or punishes yourself, you can't say, "Man, I'm stupid. Man, I should have knew better. Oh man, I'm not good at that. I'm not." You diminish that warrior inside of you every single time you say something that's self-deprecating. So one of the things that I push and promote is that if I'm coaching someone and talking to someone, we're not going to have any type of self-deprecating talk. We're not going to talk about how stupid you were or how big the mistake was, or no, we're going to always build ourselves up. And I think that really is important as you bring it out in terms of how you speak to yourself.
That is truly powerful, and I think that we underestimate the power that's within us. But there are so many people in our society, like myself at one point in my life, I didn't have anyone to really pour into me. You know what I mean? Like I had to find a way to push my back up against the wall and challenge myself to come off of it. And then I had to find a way to block out all the negative energy that was coming from people who wanted to oppose what I strive to do. It was kind of weird. I've always dreamed bigger than my environment. Like I was like, wow, like I'm watching television. It's like I see these guys that are living this beautiful life, but yet my environment is saying that there's no way possible I can even get to a world that looks like this. How do I push myself past my environment and my circumstance? And so, today I think is a beautiful thing because you can just go on YouTube and it ain't too much you can't get on YouTube to really give you a word that you can just hang on that one word. But back in the day, back when I was coming up, there was no YouTube, John.
You had to go to the library.
You ain't gonna do this. You ain't gonna be this. You ain't gonna be that. You ain't gonna be about nothing. Every time I made a mistake, I was always reminded that mistake 6 times more, or 10 times more than when I did something that was good. So I think that we need to really kind of identify that. I'm kind of grateful that I'm not kind of grateful. I don't even use those kind of words. I'm really grateful that I went through that struggle and that back then. Because now when I see obstacles right now, circumstances right now, I truly have learned to visualize myself winning. When I go to bed at night, I pray for the dream. I don't just talk. It's intentional. Success is intentional. So when I go to bed now, John, I'm saying, hey, Lord, give me the dream that you want me to dream. Give me, my subconscious mind needs a blessing right now. Because right now I'm not feeling it. Give me the dream that I need to remember myself. Give me something to remind me of what the greatness that you put inside of me at this moment. Because I know it really counts when everything is going against you. It's not always when everything is going for you. So, hey, comment, like, share, tag. Let's get some real talk up in here tonight. And let's talk about some things that can really catapult you and get you to a place where you can speak the right language to yourself and stop letting people that's outside of yourself control your thought process and take control of your life. And listen, take full responsibility for your life. So, John, speak to us a little bit about what are some of the things you had to do in your journey when you was like caught off guard, or there was a distraction involved that kind of held you back a second to give you the ability to be able to recharge. What did you do? What is the mindset of a person that's being held back right now, that's stuck right now? How do we get them out of the being stuck situation?
Well, I'm gonna say the same thing that I used to say when I was teaching in the real estate department here in Houston at the community college. I taught individuals that had a desire to get into the mortgage and lending business, and they had one outcome, and that outcome is that they wanted to improve their economic standard of living by getting that mortgage license. And one of the things that I would tell each and every one of them, I said, if you're going to get that license and you're going to go with a broker, you make sure that the broker that you're following is running the type of business, is living the type of lifestyle, and has the type of circle that you want for yourself. So the first thing that everybody has to do is you got to find a winner and emulate that person. You got to find somebody that's close to you. You got to find a D Early and call him up on the telephone and say, listen, I'm looking at how you live your life. I see the six-figure vehicles that you push. I see the $1 million house that you live in. I want that for myself. And think about it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with jealousy. Jealousy, when my mentor used to come and see me, I was jealous of how his suits fell off of his body and how the words came off of his tongue and how he commanded a room when he walked in the door. I was jealous of that because I wanted that for myself. Now, the thing that we got to be careful about is envy. Now, envy is a disease that we don't want anywhere near us. And but you got to find that person that's living that life that you want, that's willing to coach you and walk you through it. Hey, I'm watching what you're doing here. How do I do that for myself? Will you be a person that's willing to take credit for my success? Because I'm going to be successful, but not without a person like you coaching me from the sidelines. That's step one.
So let's go back to how to find that person. So I want to give you a tip on that. You follow him. You follow her. You see when they pull up what they're pulling up in. You see what house they're pulling up to. You identify who answers the door. Is it a beautiful woman you would love to be with? Is it a handsome guy you want to be with? Like you identify, like with that person that you're striving to model yourself after. Do they have the life that you could see yourself living in the next 5 to 10 years? So that's very important. You got to make sure you find the right leader. That's super important. And so, man, I thank you for that, man. That's very powerful. Listen, I want to get right into the steps. I want to give people some things they can hang. And so, hey, get your pen and paper out. Get ready to take notes because you're about to hear from a guy that's mastered his craft, and he's about to give you some steps on how you can get to the next level. What's going on, Ernest Simmons? What's up, brother? Been a long time, man. Hey, man, listen, it's super important. Hey, listen, I want you guys to just kind of identify with some of the success formulas from yours truly, John Cruz, on what are some of the things, John, that we need to put in perspective on the steps to get to a place where we can be successful once we've adopted the right mindset.
Well, one of the things that you just said is that there is an actual formula for success. And that formula breaks down. First of all, you're building that formula on top of a strong mindset. That's one thing that we've already established. But the actual formula for success is knowledge plus planning plus action equals success. That's it. Knowledge plus planning plus action equals success. And just
so
to be very
if it's that simple, John, why is it so hard for people to attain? I've been doing research and studying successful people for a very long time. And I looked at the numbers, and they're staggering numbers. The top 1% versus the top 5% versus the 95%. Why is it such a huge gap between the successful versus the unsuccessful?
Because we're like gnats flying around a hole in the dark. I mean, we all do some of the things that we're supposed to be doing in order to be successful, but sometimes we just don't. We've not been able to break it down to a science, and we're not doing enough of the right things. For myself, when I got into the business, it took me 6 years to even to be able to take care of myself from my business 100%. I was always having to go in between jobs and back to my business, and I'd leave the job and think that I had it all figured out, and then I'd work 6-7 months, and then I got to go find a job again. And but it was because I just didn't have the science of it all figured out. And it wasn't until I got a very good mentor that he was able to point me in the direction to show me, hey, you need to put more focus here. You need to put more focus here. As that success formula that I just gave you, it came from my mentor, Donathan Rafiq Waliuddin. And he was like, John, this is the formula. And this is what you have to pay attention to, that knowledge. And knowledge breaks down to what you know, what you read, and it goes so far as what your network knows. Because think about it, D, how often do we call each other? And I have to rely on your knowledge of something, and you call me and have to rely on my knowledge. So knowledge isn't always just what you know; it's also what your network knows.
Absolutely. Hey, like, share, tag, and comment. Let's get this information out there. Hey, we're talking to John Cruz, and I wanted to get an opportunity. I didn't get the opportunity to do it in the beginning of the show. I want to kind of give the audience an opportunity to know who you are for those who haven't heard you speak before. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you've applied these formulas to be able to enhance your life in 2022, heading into 2023?
Well, as you know, we talk about all the time, my first business was in the mortgage business. And in January of 2000, I had the largest mortgage company in the state of Texas. I had 137 licensees under my broker license. And it was just at a time when licensure for mortgage brokers and loan officers had just started. So that was the breakout moment for me in my business. Did very well in that business, made millions of dollars. And ended up selling my mortgage company, selling the production arm of my mortgage company. And then, 2008 hit and I went flat broke. So, and in that time, while I was licking my wounds and trying to get over, at one time being the man and now being, the man that needs to get out of people's way, I looked at what would I do differently. And the thing that I came up with is that I had to diversify myself. Once I mastered one thing, I needed to duplicate myself in other areas so that I wouldn't have that type of experience again. So now I have several businesses.
Do me a favor and speak to that a little bit. Speak to me about, from an example standpoint, what does that really mean? Because there's somebody listening right now saying, okay, duplicate myself in other things. I mean, like, that's very dangerous for people like me. You know what I mean? Because I'm listening to you and you say that to me and I'm like, okay, I want to be like John. I want to be where John is. I want to get to that next level. But yet, I mean, I got so many different ideas, right?
Right.
And, I got so many different interests and I had to learn how to make that work for me. And it took me a long time, John, to figure that out. So I don't want to move too fast on this particular part of the conversation because somebody needs to know exactly what that meant for you.
I got
so
you.
They don't get the misconception that you need to be doing multiple things once you master one thing. What does master really mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is it a number thing? Is it a spiritual thing or emotional thing or all of the above? So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, sir. So let's go back to when I wasn't making very much money in the mortgage business back in 1998. My mentor came down from Chicago. He had some business here in Houston and he came into my office. He's catching up with me, spent the afternoon with me, took me to lunch. He's looking at my office, the way that I'm set up, looking at my marketing, looking at my business plan. And he notices something. He says, so John, you mean to tell me that you have a Group 1 insurance license? You're also a mortgage broker. You also have your real estate broker's license. You also are selling this thing called free phone. Because think about this, 1998, this before cell phones were as prevalent as they are. So I had a business where we were putting free telephones into high traffic places like grocery stores. And it had a 2-foot cord on it. So you had to be stuck in the booth so you could look at all the advertising that was in there. So I had free phone. And then I was selling a pyramid scheme called World Connect, and I had the meetings at my office.
Pyramid scheme, John, and you really got
I was man. Listen, I was doing everything I could to come up $5 short on my rent. I was trying to get every dollar I could possibly get. So my mentor took a yardstick that I used that I had in my office. He took the yardstick and he put 5 things on my desk to represent each and every one of those businesses that I had. And he asked me, John, if you had to pick one business to do from here on out for the rest of your life, which one of the 5 that you've just given me would it be? I said, well, probably the mortgage business. I mean, I got this big lease and that's probably the one I have the most experience in. He took that yardstick and took my stapler, my Rolodex, my whatever I had, and ran all the other 4 items into the trash can. And he said, you're never going to be successful until you master one thing first. Doesn't mean that you can't master multiple things, but you need to master one thing first. And his definition of mastery was, you've built this up to where it pays 100% of your expenses and bills away from home, provides you a salary, and you don't have to be here to run it.
Okay, so let's put a period right there, and let's press a rewind button, because you said that pretty fast, and I want people to really get this, because no, defining what mastery means is super important in this equation, because there are so many people who are doing too much right now. You don't have the confidence to focus on the one thing and put yourself up against the wall and accomplish that which one thing that you've been required to do to really give you access to do everything you want to do. So everything that I do in this one thing, whatever I birth after that, is going to come from this one thing. So please define the definition of mastery in that equation just one more time.
Mastery, as it relates to your business should be paying you 100%. All of your expenses that it takes for you to live. It should be providing a salary for you, covering all of your expenses. And you should not have to be in that business in order for it to run on a daily basis. That's mastery. If you have to be there to turn the crank to make your business run, you've not quite mastered it yet, and you should not bleed yourself into another business or into another area. You shouldn't be a person that's handing out a business card with 3 or 4 different things on it. And you're scratching out numbers and writing stuff in because you got all this stuff that you do. You need to focus on one thing and make that thing pay you well for that focus. And then get people involved in that they take your place. And all you do is manage the balance sheet. And that's what mastery is. And until you've gotten to that point, according to my mentor, he said, you're not ready to start something else. So I ended up shutting my free phone business down. I got out of the pyramid scheme. I don't even know what happened to all the free phones I installed, because I stopped selling advertising for them. I stopped checking on them. I cut every single thing off. This was in 1998, end of the year 1998. And I dedicated 100% of myself to my mortgage business. By January 1 of 2000, I'd say 13, 14 months later, I had the largest mortgage company in the state of Texas. I had 137 licensees, and I became a millionaire that year. And so he was right. My focus was just too diluted over too many different things. I'm putting one hat on, taking the other off, and it was too much going on. But when you centralize your focus into one thing, now you're setting yourself up for success, and then success can lead to mastery.
So listen, I had a conversation with you this morning. I called you and I said, I need you to help someone that needs help. And, we had a conversation after that phone call. We had both came to the same conclusion after the call. But as a consultant, I give people, part of my responsibility is to help people get to the next level. And so I get a lot of things coming at me at all times. And it's very easy for someone to present something to me and then at the same time make their pitch to help to get me to be a part of what they're doing. And because I'm vested in helping them get to the next level and they've hired me as a consultant, it's very difficult sometimes to not go overboard in helping them get to where they want to be. And sometimes it takes away from. So for all you guys out there that are coaching, all you guys out there that are consulting, all you guys out there that have clients that you really want to invest in, you just heard what mastery means. Make sure you master where you are. And until you are in a position where it pays for itself, hey man, stay true to what God put you here to do in this particular time. It's very important that we stay focused and we don't dilute our energy in too many areas, because you need to give 120% in 2022, 2023 to be where you want to be. You heard it first here on a D Early Experience with yours truly, Demetrius Early, and Mr. John Cruz. And so we're going to move right along. And
I do have one thing I want to say about the gentleman that you were helping this morning.
Okay.
And I like for everybody to understand that one of the caveats about being in business is that, especially when you start becoming successful, you start to believe that you can apply those same tools and talents to a little bit of everything, and deals start coming at you
Everywhere.
left and right. Uh, I'm gonna say this to you. I used to chase every single deal. I was helping people do all kinds of stuff. I mean, stuff that I knew very little about and had almost no relationships in. At the time that my mentor came and he checked me on mastery, from that point on, if somebody called me and said, John, I'm trying to sell, 200 hospitals, I didn't know anything at the time about the medical business, but I know a guy who likes hospitals and he might buy some. I did not try to set myself up to make money in a transaction. As soon as you start trying to broker a transaction, it takes time. You got to make sure that you're on legal documents. You got to sit in meetings. You got to be in between phone calls. And that time is taken away from your business, which is taking away from your mastery, which is putting more time in between you becoming successful. If, man, give that contact away, and believe me, the universe and the gods will come and benefit you in some other way if they ever make a dime on that and not pay you. But you cannot chase every single relationship trying to find or nickel and dime your way into the deal. Make the introduction and get back to work. Get back to your business, whatever that may be.
Awesome. Hey, what's up, Manoa Clinton? How you doing, sir? Hey, listen, we got
Brother Manoa.
Knowledge, we got planning, we got action equals success. So we just talked about knowledge. We also talked about mastery. Now we want to talk about planning, proper planning. John, give us a good, quick understanding from a planning standpoint on what should you have in place to plan. And don't feel bad about adding the team into the proper planning, because I think that a lot of people, they really dilute a position and they don't do the proper job in the proper scouting and the proper, I would say, the proper application on the individuals that they're going to have on their team. I found that me attracting the right people is super important to being able to attract the right people, but at the same time, understanding the personality traits of those individuals that are going to be able to come to the team and add something to the table that I don't bring, that's going to complement what I bring. It's so important in matters of planning. So could you speak to that for a second?
I will. So, my mentor used to say to me all the time, as soon as he would come to town, he said, let me see your plan. And one of the reasons he was asking me, because he wanted to make sure I didn't put a plan together and stick it under everything else in my desk. That plan needed to be a living document. But his comments used to always be, if it isn't planned, then it ain't real. And if it isn't written, it'll never happen. So I had to put my plan together, and there were 3 phases to my plan. It was my immediate business plan, it was my marketing plan, and it was my personal goals. And think about this. I had the idea from the mortgage business in 2000. No, I take that back. That was in 1998 when the state first announced that they were going to go to a license by January 1 of 2000. I was at the state convention when they announced that, and there were probably 1,500, 2,000 loan officers in the room. That all hell broke loose. Everybody was against it. They were writing letters to their congressmen and everybody trying to fight it. And I realized that no matter how much they fight this is going to happen. So what I realized is that they were giving the power to us as loan officers, because we had experience, to make anybody in the business a mortgage broker or a loan officer. So I went around to all of the top white real estate offices that would never send me any business and showed them how they could fire their current mortgage broker and probably pull another $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 per transaction into their household. And they flocked to me like you wouldn't believe. I had 3 classes where I taught them how to be loan officers. All 3 classes were packed to capacity, but I couldn't sign up any more than 140 people. And I took advantage of that one thing. And that's how when you're totally dedicated to your business, you're totally dedicated to your planning, you're totally dedicated to how you're going to market it. Just keep working that plan, and believe me, you're going to see the results come in.
My favorite part of this equation, because if you look at, listen, I don't want to be remembered by everything. I want to be remembered by a few things. And the one thing I want to be remembered by is being a man of action. Could you speak to, the ability to be able to take action, but make sure that we identify with, again, we don't leave out the team, because we have to make sure we attract the right people to be able to run the play that needs to be ran. But tell me a little bit about taking action. What does that really mean when a person don't have it all together? Because you got a lot of people right now, they want everything to be perfect. And that's what me and you always talk about all the time. Man, hey, man, listen, man, I'm ready to go, man. You like, dude, I'm not ready yet. I need this to be done, this to be done, that to be done. So we're a little different when it comes to a matter of how to get started, when to get started, but we always find a way to come to an agreement. But I want to talk a little bit about taking action, because the one thing that I've always been able to do is, when I make a mistake, I learn from it, but I don't learn from it by being a planner as much as I probably should. I've learned from it from actually stepping out, going out, making things happen, and then I kind of learn in reverse in retrospect. But right. I've learned over the years that's not the best way to truly learn. I think it's more important that we identify with who we are, what's best for us, and come up with a game plan and not go against the formulas of success. And that's the reason why we're having this conversation, because John has been a true blessing to me over the years to just be real with me. Because, I'm a boss's boss. Most people don't come and say, hey, dear, don't do that, man. But John will be the one to come say, hey, man, dear, don't do it. You're going against your own principles, brother. And one of the principles that we talk about is being in control. If I give my control over to someone else, I'll put my money somewhere where someone else has control of it. Am I in control? And so when something goes wrong with that transaction, am I to blame that someone or that company that I invested in? No. I made a decision on the foundational aspect and went against a principle that I don't believe in. And every time I go against my principles, what happens, John? I ain't no
you lose 100% of the time.
Hey, who fault is it, dearly? It's my fault. Take full responsibility for your life. So tell me a little bit about what's the proper way to take action, because you always seem to be the guy in my circle that always wait for that perfect moment to make that move. Me, on the other hand, I'm running out. I'm ready to go. Let's run the play. You know what I mean? But I'm learning more over time to really properly plan, analyze, do the proper recruitment, and make sure that this serves me in a way to where I'm in control. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Well, I think that you and I are a good balance for each other, because I am a bit of a perfectionist, and sometimes that perfection can lead into procrastination. I already know that about myself, and you're the type of person that's ready, fire, aim. So you gonna shoot 2 or 3 times, and then you're gonna correct your shot as you keep shooting. And sometimes that is the best way to operate. And you got to have people in your circle. I don't need another John Cruz, but I do need a D Early, because sometimes you motivate me to say, you know what, this is perfect enough. Let's go with it. But let's get down to action. Action is my favorite part of the equation, because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where many of you are going to outdo people that are smarter, have more connections, have more money, is in the action arena. Massive action equals massive success. You must be a doer. You must hear and obey. I love talking to people about the Bible, because the Bible is a book of action. And you got to get up and you got to do something. You got to give God something to bless. And God only blesses deeds. So that means that you can't be sitting on the couch thinking about doing business. You got to be out in the street doing business. Give God something to bless. And don't worry about the outcome. When it comes down to the action portion of what you're doing, what you want to focus on is if it's a jump shot, you're going to make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart and squared underneath your body. You're going to jump as high as you possibly can. And when you get to the apex of that jump, you're going to release the ball, flick the wrist. Those are the things that you're worried about. But you don't worry about whether or not it's going in. You want to worry about, did I execute this shot to perfection? And after that, I leave it up to God. But you have to take action. Get out there, make the phone calls, show up, talk to people, uh, 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 you know, go shake hands, go kiss babies. The action is where most people fall off the wagon when it comes to building their business to a successful organization. You've got to get out there and do something.
Listen, I'm not gonna run no commercial right now. We're gonna stay to this because this is super important that we get the right information out here to the right people. I need the right people. You're on this right here, you're on this broadcast right now, you are the right person. One of the most important things in my life, what I've learned over time, I've had millions of dollars and I've lost it, made it again, lost it. You know, but the one thing that I've learned, the most expensive lesson I've learned, is the most powerful thing you can have are great relationships. So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about relationships, man. Like, you know, we put all this work in, we collaborate, but you know what I believe, John? Because we have such an awesome relationship that we lost all our money right now. We'll come together and come up with some ideas and put some action behind them, but trusting each other and having the right relationship is going to be the foundation to get us back on track. So
Right.
let's speak a little bit about the right relationships because we got to get to the Q&A in about 3 minutes. Let's speak a
Okay.
little about relationships, how important they are, your relationship with God, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with how you feel about yourself, and the relationship you have with other people.
And all of those things that you just named are all synonymous. I handle my relationship with God the same way I handle my relationship with myself. I handle my relationship with Demetrius Early the same way I handle my relationship with God. I handle my relationship with my children the same way I handle my relationship with D. Early and God and myself, which means that I come from a foundation of complete honesty. I do not lie to you. I'm not going to mislead you. I'm not going to cheat from you. I'm not going to take nothing from you. I totally 100% believe. Now, I came into this world with no contacts, no credit, no relationships. Nobody knew me, and got into business without all of those things. And it took time for me to build up and show myself as being an honorable person, show myself as being someone that is team oriented, to let my yes mean yes and my no mean no. And your relationships are just as good as money. I've been broke 3 times. I've been rich 3 times. And every single time it was my relationships that got me back to being wealthy. And it's the people who knew me and knew that I was a good person going through a bad time. But sometimes when you meet a bad person going through a bad time, you be like, that's good for that son of a gun. I'm not doing nothing for him. And believe me, when you're without money, without resources, you're without hope. You're what? It's the people that you treated right. It's the people that have worked for you that you paid on time. It's those people that will carry you over. And your relationships are to be treated just like their currency because they are.
John, what is the difference between smart and intelligent?
Man, first of all, you can get smart anywhere. Smart comes a dime a dozen. I mean, everybody's smart. Smart isn't even impressive these days, but intelligence is the application of smarts. Intelligence is how you apply your smarts to provide lifestyle for yourself. Are you intelligent enough to use your resources, to use your relationships, not to misuse, but to use those things in order to provide lifestyle for you and your family? And that's the application of intelligence. Intelligence is rare, but smart is everywhere.
So listen, hey guys, you guys heard it here on the Dear Early Experience. Go to dearearlyexperience.com. Hey man, like, share, tag, comment, follow us on social media. We have multiple outlets. We have Facebook at Dear Early Experience, Instagram at Dear Early Experience, Twitter at Demetrius_Early, YouTube, Demetrius Early, TikTok at Dear Early Experience, LinkedIn, Demetrius Early, and my website again is dearearlyexperience.com. Listen, we have an opportunity right now to get in the chat. Please ask your questions right now. Go ahead and post your questions. Let's go ahead and get some Q&A going for this phenomenal guy, this young man who is doing phenomenal things. Been a great inspiration in my life, and I'm super excited to have him present here tonight. So let's take advantage of this powerful information, because I'm telling you something, you guys have taken notes and you take heed to what's being said and put action behind it, your life would never be the same. So, hey, what are the questions for this evening? Let's ask some questions this evening, and please go ahead and put it in the chat right now so we can go ahead and answer your question and hit where you're from.
I know that I saw earlier that somebody put in there that they had been doing something for 36 years. I don't know. I think that was Ernest. Ernest said something. He's been in the same business for 36 years, and he's looking to do something different.
D, I would like to meet with John so I can, about opening another. I have mastered what I have been doing for 36 years and really to do something different now. Hey,
I think he's saying
man.
he's ready to do something different.
Yeah,
Can I touch on that?
No, you cannot. That's a simple request. Hey, Mr. Ernest, I will make that happen, sir. You are on the right show at the right time. We're going to make that happen very soon. You just let us know when you're ready, sir. Let us know when you're ready. We have any more questions out there? Because I know that we only have about 7 minutes, John, so we want to get some questions out. Hey, okay. How can you tell who is intelligent? Oh, that's a good one.
Man, that's a really good question. I'll tell you this. Look at their entire lifestyle, and you can't just look at if someone is earning good money or not to determine whether or not they're intelligent, because smart people, I mean, look at the guy at FTX. I can't recall his name at the moment, but he had billions of dollars and lost it overnight. So smart people sometimes have a big win, but intelligence is something that's revealed to you over time. And you just have to look at how a person lives, how they walk, how they handle their relationships. Are they someone that is resourceful? Are they able to go through a struggle and come back? And how do they come back? How do they handle people? How do they talk to people? Like me, when I walk into my restaurant, I hug my employees. I'm a hugger, but I start hugging at the guy who's cleaning the toilets. He gets my first attention when I walk in the door. And then I go to the person that's cleaning the tables and I hug him and thank him for his time and effort. To me, that's intelligence, when you're able to show a level of respect to your staff, the people who make you what you are. And you just have to pay attention to people.
That's awesome. Okay. Brand new entrepreneur, what's the first step you take to becoming the best version of yourself? The first step.
The thing that delivered me most when I was in business was having a good mentor, because there was just so many things that I didn't know. Like, I'll give you one of the isms from my mentor. As an entrepreneur, you have but one job, and that one job is overcoming any and all obstacles, regardless of circumstance. That's your only job. How good are you at doing your job? Now, for me, being a young entrepreneur, I was horrible at it because I just didn't have the experience. I didn't have the know-how. I didn't have the relationships. But you know who did have that? I leveraged what I didn't know by having a mentor that was willing to share with me and give me what I needed, so that he was the coach from the sidelines and I was the on-field talent. And I was out there tackling everything that he pointed at. So if you're a new entrepreneur, I would try to find somebody that is very good at what you're about to do and see if you can encourage that person to be part of your brain trust.
Okay. After you finally made self-sustaining money, what was your motivation to keep going?
Man, I come from a large family. I got 5 nieces and nephews that I don't want to have college loans. I got a daughter that I had to put through college, and she's a meteorologist now. She doesn't have any student loans. Unfortunately, I got the type of family that has a place for my money. So I have to keep going, keep grinding. We have an 80-acre farm that I'm in the process of building legacy to start a school, to start teaching other young Black men how to be self-sufficient and independent. That's going to take money. So it's something else my mentor used to say, John, if your plan and goals are all about you, then your plans and goals are way too small. So I have such a broad plan. Now that I've taken care of me, I'm just like the airlines. I put my own mask on first. So now that my mask is on, I have enough money and enough income to take care of me for the rest of my life. Now it becomes about how many other people on this plane can I save? And now I started with my immediate family. I'm working with them, and now I'm working to help people that haven't even come on this planet yet. So I'm trying to leave a legacy.
Michelle Kenny says, how do you find a good mentor?
I would say if you don't know any business owners in your immediate circle, I would say start with LinkedIn And if I were getting into, I mean, I don't know. You pick the industry, but if I were getting into something, the very first thing that I would do is I would try to find every single person on LinkedIn that does what I do, that's been doing it for 20 or more years. And I would reach out to them and try to start building a relationship, asking people, can I take them out for coffee? I'm a young person in this business. I'm looking just for some guidance. If you would just allow me 10 or 15 minutes to buy you a cup of coffee, just so you can pour into my cup. Most people that are 20 years into something are looking for somebody that they can share knowledge and information with. And secondarily to that, keep your eyes and ears open. To me, once you start looking for something, the universe is sending it right to you. So it may be somebody that's right in your immediate circle that could help you out.
Yeah, what you seeking is seeking you. Larry Williams,
all the time.
Larry said, what would you say is the first and important thing you need to do starting a new business?
You got to have a good attorney. You touched on one of the topics earlier. Next time I'm on here, we can talk about the 11 principles to wheel and deal. But I'll give you what principle number 1 is. Always position yourself to be in control. And how you structure your deal going in is basically is the paperwork you're going to walk on going out. If it's weak going in, it's going to be weak going out. If it's weak going in, you probably never going to get out. You'll be thrown out, pushed out. So I would say that maybe having an attorney on your side to help make sure that all of your documentation is put together right, the lease that you sign is right. Negotiation at the very front is where profit is protected.
Absolutely. And you also can book a consultation with yours truly, the early experience. We can help you and lead you in the right direction to identify what your business is and ask the proper questions to see exactly how we can help you make some right decisions and put the right team together. And that's one thing we didn't get a chance to talk about. We'll talk about it next time we have an opportunity to get this awesome gentleman on the line. I want to thank you so much, John Cruz, for taking time out of your busy schedule and being on the The Early Experience virtual show. You're amazing. You're awesome. Thank you so much, brother. Hey, man, y'all like, share, comment. And hey, if you want to get in contact with us, hey, just go to theearlyexperience.com and book an appointment, and I'll definitely get you in tap to be able to get in contact with Mr. Cruz. Man, we love you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. John, thank you again, brother. And y'all
thank you, brother.
Listen, go to info@theearlyexperience.com or call 1-888-276-7696. This is yours truly, Demetrius. We're signing out. Peace.